Sadhaka program. We are on the 12th verse of ISOPANISHAD. 12th हो गया? 13th है. Oh, different results. Sarab Krishna Prabhu. हाँ, 13th है. 13th का half है. ठीक है. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Akshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gau Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. आप लोग का एक बार फिर स्वागत है. Welcome once again, all of you, for BS Sadhaka program. All right. 1 second. Okay. So we are reading from ISOPANISHAD. We have reached up to the 13th verse. 9, 10, 11 spoke about knowledge and ignorance. And 12, 13, 14 talks about Sambhuti, Asambhuti. We are on the 13th shloka. 13th shloka, just like 10th shloka, talks about one who follows the path of knowledge attains one result. One who follows the path of ignorance attains another result. Similarly, the 13th verse talks about one who worships Sambhuti attains one result. One who worships Asambhuti attains another result. So we were making a point last time. This understanding any path or every path lead to same goal, and that is debunked. No, it's not like that. If you drive your vehicle towards Bombay, although it could be Kolhapur Bombay highway, but will you reach Kolhapur or Bombay? Simple. The direction where you headed, you'll go there. So whoever you worship, accordingly you get the result. That's the point here. Text number 13. Anyadevahu sambhava Anyadahu sambhava Iti shushrumatirana Enastad vichachakshire. Translation. We have already discussed this, so I'm kind of keeping it brief. Translation and purport. By His divine grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and another is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this was heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. So Srila Prabhupada begins the purport, which we have discussed before, about Dhirana. And then Prabhupada talks about bona fide and non-bona fide practices. In other words, faith. This is subject matter of Bhagavad Gita also. 17th chapter begins with this, where Arjuna asks the question, my dear Lord, what about those who worship with faith, but something other than prescribed in scriptures? Therefore, Krishna began to discuss in 17th chapter, Arjuna, faith is also according to mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Those who do not follow Veda scriptures, they may have faith in somebody, some devta also, but they at the end of the day worship according to Manorathe Nasati. Now, let me ask a simple question to all of you. A reminder can be posted in Sadhaka, because I posted a message last night, so what is the way? Oh yeah, I made it. It's working. So, if in case our fellows can have their cameras on, I'm going to ask a simple question to all of you here. And the question is, chal raha hai na? It's going. I'll check it better. Okay, Haribol, attention. So what was I saying? Yeah, let me ask this question to all of you. We are talking about faith, 17th chapter, types of worship. So that's how 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita opens. And that is about what about those who do not follow Vedic scriptures but still have faith and they worship? And then Krishna talks about faith arising because of moral goodness, passion, ignorance. Okay. So, how many of you have seen within your family some worship of some devtas? Raise your hand. In India, 200%, no doubt. All of us have seen it. Now, second question. How many of you ever saw or know that your parents ever read any Vedic scripture by themselves, or they had a Vedic scripture, or they were taught by somebody? Yes or no? How many say no? If you say no, raise your hands. They they didn't have any books. Even they had some books, so it was some local publisher which only had those Sanskrit, which they would recite in the morning, just or that Sanskrit was done into Hindi or whatever local language, where while offering the prayers, they'll just recite it, like Durga Chalisa, Hanuman Chalisa, etc., etc. But they had no idea what they're doing. They don't know who has written it, which Shastra it is. How many of you agree with this? I had no idea of it. 100% here, mostly 100%. That is the point which is being discussed here. What is the basis of your faith? आपकी श्रद्धा का सूत्र क्या है? हमारी श्रद्धा का सूत्र होना चाहिए शास्त्र, क्योंकि शास्त्र, the study of Vedic knowledge have more or less become nil. It was Srila Prabhupada who made it popular. Therefore, people know nothing what they do. And that was the situation with me also. So that's the point Prabhupada mentioned, types of result in the rest of the purports, that how, although they're worshipping, but they have no clue about what they're doing because they don't have bona fide or authentic scriptures. Then Prabhupada speaks about why there are so many Bhagavad Gita commentaries. Everyone wants to write according to what they think is right. And then Prabhupada talks about the personal form of the Lord. We have the three levels of God realization: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, Sambhuti, Asambhuti. Sambhuti refers to these three levels of realization. And in these three levels of realization also, it refers to Bhagavan realization. Yad Gatvana Nivartante, as it is said. Now we are coming to the last part, which is about, Devatas, Asambhuti part. So you have to go on to the last page, and a page prior to the last page is from where we begin to read. And that is the simple way to worship. Oh, you understood, right? If this is where your purport ends, a page prior to it, you begin reading from here. Okay? The simple way to worship the Supreme Lord in this age of disturbance is to hear and chant about his great activities. The mental speculators, however, think of the activities of the Lord as imaginary, and therefore they refrain from any such hearing processes and invent some jugglery of words without any substance to divert the attention of the poor, innocent mass of people. You're paying attention? See what it's saying? Therefore, they refrain from any such hearing process and invent some jugglery of words without any substance to divert the attention of the poor, innocent mass of people. We were talking yesterday about diversion. Srila Prabhupada made a point that man is considered to have 64 ounces of brain substance, woman is considered to have 32 ounces of brain substance, according to science. So according to science itself, the man should be twice qualified as a lady to perform an activity. Well, that's not the case. Ladies are also qualified. Well, that is also not the case. Ladies are qualified, men could be more qualified, but if there is a competition today, it's only because the man has degraded. Man is not using his all potential. Why? Because of diversion. It is not a subject matter of being a man and woman. Whoever is diverted will not be able to fully utilize his brain substance. I'm using a medical terminology. This is what the science says. I'm not quoting Vedic Shastra here, but I was quoting that modern science believe like this. So if we are diverted, and I believe I have made this point before. I made this point during Janmashtami talk also. Why Lord Shri Krishna, despite Duryodhan being a great diplomat, politician, he wasn't somebody like Kamsa who would exploit his dependents. He wasn't doing anything like that. Why did Krishna still wanted to establish Yudhishthira Maharaj, not Duryodhan? Anyone knows the answer? Why Krishna wanted to establish Yudhishthira, not Duryodhan, as a king? I believe we have discussed here also when I spoke on our Janmashtami talk also. Why? Are itna silence. What dharma? What dharma Duryodhan would not have followed? What dharma? Varnashrama dharma. कहाँ थे तुम लोग? सेवा में थे सारे? हम्म हम्म कहाँ थे केदार? अरे ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीजें हैं, ये लोग पूछेंगे फिर धर्मा करके निकल आओगे, धर्मा थोड़ा ना, वर्णाश्रम धर्मा. It's a responsibility of an administrator or leader to ensure everyone is happy in their life. And to be happy in their life, it's extremely important that we do what we are meant for. If we do not do what we are meant for, we will remain always distracted. What? Always distracted. So, if I want to exploit you, the best way of exploiting you is to keep you distracted. Because if you're distracted, you will not ask a question. Roads क्यों नहीं बनाई? हवा पानी इतना खराब क्यों हो गया है? अच्छा खाना क्यों नहीं मिलता है? You will not ask this fundamental question. Whose responsibility it is? Administrator. Administration's responsibility to provide you fresh water, oxygen level, oxygen should be pure. Nobody would ask this question. रोटी कपड़ा मकान का ही जब चैलेंज आ जाता है ना, or when even if you don't have roti kapda makan challenge, when you're not happy with what you're doing, you'll not even think of these things. So Duryodhan would have not allowed the establishment of Varnashrama dharma, or whatever dharma was established, Varna dharma, he would have spoiled it. That's how he would have exploited it. And that's how in modern world rulers are ruling it. To keep you always distracted, divert the attention of poor innocent mass of people. And similarly, this the subject matter has been discussed, is this similarly, sadhus do it. Who do it? Mayavadis do it. They divert your attention from the real subject by telling you, you are God, I am God. Sounds good, isn't it? If any Tom, Dick, Harry comes and he tells, hey, only Krishna is not God. You are God, I am God, we all are God. And I know the art of making you God. How many of you are willing to pay 5,000 rupees for this course? If I can teach you the art of becoming God, or if I can teach you the art of becoming the servant of God. Now, if I charge you 5,000 rupees, becoming the God or art of becoming the servant of God, which course are you all going to opt?
Second one.
तुम अभी बैठे हैं यहाँ पे साधु संत महात्मा, servant of God. In general बताओ, which course would you buy? How many say public would pay 5,000 rupees for the art of becoming God, then the art of becoming servant of God? What do you say? First one, art of becoming God, yes or no?
Yes, bro.
वो दुकान चला रहे हैं और तभी हमें अपना कोर्स फ्री में चलाना पड़ता है, क्योंकि फ्री में चलाने के बाद ही लोग नहीं आते सर्वेंट ऑफ गॉड बनने के लिए. Understood? Okay, we. So yeah, diversion, divert the attention of the poor, and people. That's the point here. Instead of hearing the activities of the Lord Krishna, they prefer to advertise themselves by inducing their followers to sing about the pseudo spiritual master. In modern times, the number of such pretenders has increased in considerable numbers, and it has become a problem for the pure devotees of the Lord to save the mass of people from the unholy propaganda of these pretenders and imitation incarnations of God. All right. Next, somebody else can read it. Next paragraph. All right, Nikhil Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Yes.
The Upanishads indirectly draw our attention to the primeval Lord, Sri Krishna, but the Bhagavad Gita, which is the summary of all the Upanishads, directly points to Sri Krishna. Therefore, one should hear about Krishna as he is by hearing from the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, and in this way, one's mind will gradually be cleansed of all contaminated things. Srimad Bhagavatam 1-17 says, by hearing of the activities of the Lord, the devotee draws the attention of the Lord. Thus, the Lord, being situated in the heart of every living being, helps the devotee by giving him proper directions. The Bhagavad Gita 10:10 confirms this. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. The Lord's inner direction cleanses the devotee's heart of all contamination produced by the material modes of passion and ignorance. Non-devotees are under the sway of passion and ignorance. One who is in passion cannot become detached from material hankering, and one who is in ignorance cannot know what he is or what the Lord is. Thus, when one is in passion or ignorance, there is no chance for self realization. However, much one may play the part of religionist. For a devotee, the modes of passion and ignorance are removed by the grace of the Lord. In this way, the devotee becomes situated in the quality of goodness, the sign of a perfect Brahman. Anyone can qualify as a Brahman if he follows the path of devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18 also say,
कोई यहाँ पे आंध्र प्रदेश का है क्या? शायद आंध्र प्रदेश का नाम आ रहा है यहाँ पे. किराट हुनांद्रा पुलिंद पुलकशा अभिरशुंभा यवना खसादया
जी प्रभु।
यन्नित्य पापा यतपाशयाशया शुध्यन्ति तस्मै प्रभवे विष्णवे नमः.
हरे कृष्णा।
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I am from Andhra Pradesh, Vijayawada.
Yeah, we're just joking, huh? I'm not meaning anything. I was indicating to one of our devotee boy here. I was just pulling his leg. Okay. Continue reading.
anyone low-born person can be purified by the guidance of a pure devotee of the Lord, for the Lord is extraordinarily powerful. When one attains Brahminical qualifications, he becomes happy and enthusiastic to render devotional service to the Lord. Automatically, the science of God is unveiled before him. By knowing the science of God, one gradually becomes freed from material attachments, and one's doubtful mind becomes crystal clear by the grace of the Lord. One who attains this stage is liberated soul and can see the Lord in every step of life. This is the perfection of Sambhav, as described in this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. The first sign of Brahminical qualification is that the candidate becomes happy and becomes enthusiastic in the matter of devotional service to the Lord. I don't know how many of you paid attention. What a profound statement. Now, what does it mean? Becomes happy and becomes enthusiastic in the matter of devotional service of the Lord. This is the first qualification of a Brahmana. Would anyone like to explain this? Yes, Abhishek, go ahead. What it means?
Attaining Brahminical qualifications means your desires are very limited, your necessities are very limited. You're not hankering after the.
So we are content. We are content. We are not hankering too much. Okay. What else do you stand, Abhishek? These are two things, maybe, right?
Or someone's.
Yeah. So content, not too much hankering. All right. Happy and enthusiastic about devotional life. Okay. Can I put it this way? We are living in the world, and at a time, despite whatever Krishna may give us, we still keep complaining. We never sit back and reflect and enjoy the successes that we have achieved in our life. I was speaking to, I believe, Sagar last night. So I asked him, Sagar, when did you graduate? He said, a year ago. You got a job? He said, yes. You got a job in your field? He said, yes. Are you happy with your job? He said, yes. So you should be happy only. Isn't it? You should be happy only. Why are you still thinking about this and that? Please take the control of life in your hand. Do not become victim of this world and the ideology which they promote of keeping you diverted always. You lose. If despite you worked so hard for so many years, isn't it, to get a job, and even if you get a job in your field, it's such a great success. How many people get a job in their field? They get IT job, etc., and then they struggle in IT. They have to learn coding and whatnot. It's a big struggle. You get a job in your field, you have a good manager, you have a good job, good company. Shouldn't you be like, I should be happy, I should be enthusiastic now? When you have already got a success there by the grace of the Lord, now you should be enthusiastic in devotional life. Still, if you're lazy, still if you're distracted, you're nothing but a deceased person. You're nothing but a deceased person. And we need to identify that I'm deceased so that a treatment can be started. इतना सब कुछ मिलने के बाद, first thing. Second thing, think about us. What a great success. That's what the second point I made to him. What a great success. And what is a great success? Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadat vasudevam sarvamati samatma sadurlava. बहुत दुर्लभ व्यक्ति होता है जिसको पता होता है कि मेरी शरण लेनी है. ब्रह्मंडे भ्रमित कौन है? भाग्यवान जीवन. गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए भक्ति लता बीज. हम इतना ही नहीं पता कि कृष्ण भगवान है, भक्ति लता बीज भी हमें प्राप्त हो चुका है गुरु और गौरांग की कृपा से. और हमें कहा गया है सबसे भाग्यवान जीव. We have nothing to complain but just to enjoy. How fortunate we are. Do we ever take a minute and rejoice in our great fortune that we have received in the form of Krishna consciousness? Or we are still caught up, मुझे ये नहीं मिला, मुझे वो नहीं मिला, मुझ पे ये कम है, देखो उस पे कितना आ गया है, देखो वो कितना अच्छा भक्ति करता है, ये है वो है, मैं कहीं पे भी नहीं हूँ. So this is what? This is diseased condition. And that is what Brahminical qualification meant here. He is happy and is enthusiastic in devotional service. You can be enthusiastic in devotional service when you know the glory or when you know what you have attained. When you don't know that, when you still have this lazy tamoguni mind, then what can you do? You'll only have either be distracted or complaining. Somewhere, somehow your mind will be successful in finding faults. That's not a good success to rejoice. Good success to rejoice, to understand what we have attained and how, what a great fortune, what a great fortune. You know, and that this becomes a big challenge for those who have been practicing for a while. Those who are new, for example, just a very new boy, you know. So he could easily realize, Prabhuji, I told him, I said, when you come back here on this 18th floor of this building, the moment you come out the lift, do you feel a different environment? Just the moment you step out of the lift, he said yes. And then what to speak when you enter the apartment? I said, compare it with you going to your PG. What was the situation there? He said, PG, yes. Now, it's very easy for me to give him an example and make it relatable because he has a fresh memory of that past. What about all of you who have been staying here now? So we should acknowledge, we need to think, we need to rejoice. Therefore, the events like Srila Prabhupada Appearance Day, writing our, offering is so important. If not, at least once in a year, we take a time to express our gratitude. Srila Prabhupada, you did everything what you did for us. Thank you so much. Because of you, look what our life has become. So we have time for everything, isn't it? We can eat sufficiently. I would say we can overeat sufficiently. We can oversleep sufficiently. We can do everything. But do we ever take a moment to express our gratitude for what we have received? And if we fail to express our gratitude, our mind will not be trained up to rejoice in our success. Mind will remain in a default conditioning of saying, मुझे ये नहीं मिला, मुझे वो नहीं मिला, ये परेशानी है, वो परेशानी है. And most of you have too much to contact, you're too much in contact with material energy. You're professionals, you go out, you deal with all kinds of people who are not devotees at all. And the moment just seeing them disturbs your mind, you may or may not understand. Just seeing them contaminates the mind. It further creates affinity towards material energy. How would you break the bonds of your attachment, strong attachment to material energy? If we have not learned or understood the great mercy that we have received in the form of the grace of Srila Prabhupada and Vaishnavas, and that is the association of Vaishnavas. That is the opportunity to chant Hare Krishna. That is the opportunity to eat Krishna Prasadam. Yesterday was Ekadashi. What do you have to do for Ekadashi? Just by being in the association of devotees, you practice Ekadashi. Yes or no? तुम्हें तो पता भी नहीं होगा, तब भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता, तुम्हारा एकादशी हो गया. And Ekadashi, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Mother Sachi, is very dear to Lord Hari. Hey Maya, kuch karo na karo, par Ekadashi vrat ko palan karo. It's very dear to Krishna. Just by being around devotees, you practice Ekadashi. Can you imagine one act of yours has become very pleasing to Krishna? We have so much to rejoice and enjoy about. So much to be happy about. And that's the point here. The first sign of Brahminical qualification is that the candidate becomes Happy becomes enthusiastic in the matter of devotional service to the Lord, like that. Hare Krishna. So it's just quick reflection on this point. And Professor, the previous verse, the stage of Brahminical qualification can be earned by anyone and everyone. Okay. Any reflections from anyone on the subject matter what we discussed? Let me ask this question. Would you agree that we don't express our gratitude enough? Raise your hand. Would you agree that we don't express our gratitude enough? Would you agree we complain enough? I repeat my question. Would you agree we complain enough? So now what your mind is what because of what you have trained your mind to be. So prayena alpayushya sabhya kalav asmin yuge janaha manda sumanda mata bhagyo hi buddha. So ye manda, ye laziness na, I don't think laziness was only for A activity, B activity. This is also a very important activity. This is laziness, not to be able to write some words of gratitude for Srila Prabhupada. And it's a laziness to, to express that. Why don't we do one thing? We will have one morning where we all express our gratitude for Srila Prabhupada, where you're forced to at least say 2 or 3 lines. What do everyone say? In one of our morning session, I mean, how many are going to turn up? You tell me that. Where it is compulsory meet. Everyone who is joining the session has to at least speak, if not 1 minute, to express your gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. So how many will say you'll be able to join the session? किसी का पेट और सिर दर्द तो नहीं करने वाला ना उस दिन? Okay, we should try. So should we have that? We should plan it this way. Everyone speaks. What's the problem? Speak. And I'll tell you, it might seem so, kaise bolu. The reason is because you have never learned doing it. It becomes very painful. But once you hear it, it is so empowering. It is so faith-giving. It's so strong. So we should do that. So we are on an average 20 odd, 40 students. We are almost 1 hour effectively, or 45 minutes. We're going to 1 hour. We can have 1 minute offering by everyone. Is it okay? What do you all say?
Very well.
Online Praja?
Very well.
Okay. We'll have 1 minute, huh? तो 1 minute तक थोड़ा रखिएगा. जिनको थोड़ा लंबा जाना है जा सकते हैं उस प्रकार से. ठीक है? That's the point. ठीक है, let's take a look at text number 14. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastadvedo bhayam saha vinashena mrityum titva sambhutyamritam ashnute. What one meaning? Sambhutim, the eternal personality of Godhead. His transcendental name, form, pastimes, qualities, paraphernalia, and the variegatedness of his abode, etc. Cha and Vinasham, and the temporary material manifestation of demigods, man, animals, etc. Along with their false name, fame, etc. Cha also. Yaha, as they are. Tad, that. Veda, knows. Abhayam, both. Saha, along with. Vinashena, everything liable to be vanquished. Mrityum, death. Titva, surpassing. Sambhutya, and the eternal kingdom of God. Amritam, deathlessness. Ashnute, enjoy. So, Vedo Bhayam Saha. Ved means jana. Saha means together. What? You should know Sambhutim and Vinasham, which is Ansambhutim. permanent and temporary. We should know about both. Result, vinashena mrityum. Vinash ka result kya hai? Mrityum. Sambut ka kya hai? Sambutya amritam ashnute. What do you get? Amritam. Is it clear? That's it. Translation purpose by His Divine Grace, A.C. Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. One should know perfectly well about the personality of Godhead and His transcendental name, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men, and animals. When one knows this, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And the eternal kingdom of God enjoys eternal life of bliss and knowledge. Imagine somebody goes to kingdom of Godhead without hooring. Sounds promising? Our text never says any promise of hooring. तुम्हें हूर मिलेंगी. So, purport. All right. Somebody would like to read the purports? Yes, Ritesh, go ahead.
By so-called advancement of knowledge, human civilization has created many material things, including spaceships and atomic energy. Yet it has failed to create a situation in which people need not die, take birth again, become old, or suffer from. Whenever an intelligent man raises the question of these miseries before a so-called scientist, the scientist very clearly replies that material science is progressing and that ultimately it will be possible to render man deathless, ageless, and existence. Such answers prove the scientist's gross ignorance of material nature. In material nature, everyone is under the stringent laws of matter and must pass through 6 stages of existence: birth, growth, maintenance, production of byproducts, deterioration, and final death. No one in contact with material nature can be beyond the 6 laws of transformation. Therefore, no one, whether demigod, man, animal, or plant, can survive forever in this material world.
So if you understand what is happening here, Sambhutim takes you back to spiritual world. Asambhutim, which is path of Vinasha, keeps you in Mrityuloka. And what a profound way Prabhupada opens the purport. Prabhupada quotes scientists here. From the beginning of the time, or at least let's say from the last 100 years, they're just promising science is progressing, science is progressing. Science is progressing. Okay, let me ask this question to all of you. Let's see what you all think about it. Don't say it from the point of view of a devotee, but on a normal person. If I ask a question, if somebody comes and tells you, "Bhai, देखो science ने कितना advancement कर लिया है." There's so much medical facilities. We got so many advanced equipments to treat various diseases. Science is progressing, and because science is progressing, because we got better medical equipments, therefore the lifespan has improved. Now, this is what generally scientists say. I remember having a dialogue with one of my students back in America. Student means I was teaching him a college course in America. So he told me this thing. He said, no, Mayank, see how much science have advanced. Look at scientific advancement in medical technology. We got better equipment. We can treat cancer. We can treat this. We can do this. We can do that. Blah 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 blah. So we've improved the lifespan. We have improved the life expectancy rate. Now, would anyone like to say anything about it? Hare Krishna. Yes, Ashok Prabhu. Mike दीजिए उनको फटाफट. Ashok Prabhu, क्या कहना चाहोगे आप इसके बारे में?
Science is advanced to give facilities, but not the cure the disease. It means 80% disease are not able to they recover.
80%? कहाँ से मिला statistics तुम्हें?
I heard.
Heard? From which source you heard? 80%? कहाँ से सुना? इतना confidently बोला कि 80% ही हो रहा. You're director of World Health Organization or what? Then quote, you're a brahmachari, you should speak pramana. You can't just say, yeah, be spontaneously bola hai.
I heard in class only from somewhere.
No, this is wrong statistics. You're mistaken with that. Mike, go ahead. My question is simple. Stay on the question. What would you answer this? Science has made advancement in field of medicine.
Science can't even cure simple diseases like blood pressure, diabetes and all.
We got such an high-end medical equipments. Now we don't even need a doctor to do surgery. Robotic surgery is happening. What are you talking? What is happening? Okay, next. Yes, one sequence, Ritesh. Then.
Science has itself created those diseases, and now means they are
अरे
trying
वाह,
there because
तुमने तो सारा का सारा blame scientist पे थोप दिया.
Prabhuji, means
Science only created the disease.
earlier means in the previous ages we were not having those diseases, and currently
But
means
we were
we are
having
ignoring those
deadly
diseases because-
tuberculosis, deadly other diseases, plague, and whole cities have got wiped off in the 17th, 18th century.
So it is also in the material nature means we could see that few years back means 2 years back we have COVID. So material nature is so powerful that we cannot have those. We will having those diseases again and again. But in
And we
our
will
age-
fight as we fought against COVID and defeated COVID. Jai science. Okay. All right, next. Nivritti. What would you like to say?
गुरुजी, जैसे साइंस ने इतना एडवांसमेंट कर लिया है कि डेथ कितना सिंपल किया जाएगा, जैसे कुछ स्विट्जरलैंड का वो मशीन बनाया था उन्होंने कि डेथ को सिंपल कर सकते हैं, लेकिन लाइफ का स्पैन कैसे बढ़ाना है ये आज तक वो ये नहीं कर पाए.
Life का span कैसे बढ़ाना है? They're saying they cannot increase the lifespan. Is that what you're saying?
Accelerating the death.
Yeah.
They're accelerating the death. How? Give me an example. How they're accelerating death?
Atomic bombs.
मैं तो मेडिकल साइंस की बात कर रहा हूँ यार. तुम न्यूक्लियर साइंस में क्यों जा रहे हो?
नहीं, ऑटोमेटिक
डॉक्टर्स की बात करो. डॉक्टर थोड़ा न्यूक्लियर बम बनाया है. अभी हम डॉक्टर्स की बात, मेडिकल फील्ड की बात करो.
बीच में आया था ना एक पेनलेस डेथ वाला मशीन उन्होंने बनाया था.
हाँ, but it's not accelerating death. Somebody who is suffering so much, for it to facilitate it, okay, that is a good thing. You know, my question is, how do you say they're accelerating death in the field of medicine? So many big hospitals, big facilities, whatnot. Okay, one last input from Vittal, go ahead. One by one. वो माइक सुनाई नहीं देगा, उसके बाद आता है, बोलो.
Means they use chemicals means as a medicines, but generally chemicals they do harm because it is not a natural
You look
treatment.
like an Ayurvedic student. Every Ayurvedic student will find fault with allopathy, and every allopathy will find fault with Ayurveda. All right, the debate goes on next.
So, if we see in India, earlier, earlier age, earlier generation, like grandfather, and they means
Fine. They live longer.
They were living around 90, 95.
Okay.
My Nanaji also, he lived 95 years. But now if we see in the what science is, that is different, but what reality
Now
is,
you have come to a proper discussion. This is a valid discussion. Point is, there is so much propaganda, there is so much false propaganda. They will show you what history they will show you. They will show you history of plague. They'll show you history of poverty. They'll show that, how we were so helpless against diseases, people got wiped off, flana dikana. Well, people are getting wiped out today also. But they would not bring and have a proper correlation about it. They'll not talk about life expectancy rate. People lived longer. Hardly anyone went to doctor then. Now, if nobody went to doctor, how come people live for 100 years? Today, you cannot live 50 years without going to doctor. Tell me one fellow who is up to the age of 50 has not gone to doctor. Impossible. Now, you used to have a family, right? Our concept in our culture is to have a family. The concept in the West is to have a family doctor. What is the meaning of family doctor? Doctor has become a part of your family, which means you got to visit him so regularly, as much as you go and meet your wife and husband. That much you have to go and visit the doctor. That is why you call doctor a family doctor. There is a massive propaganda which is done, which cheats us. Now, if you're building big hospital, it is a sign of eradication of disease, a sign of more and more diseases are being created. The advancement of medical science should be that there should be lesser and lesser hospital, not more and more hospital. More and more hospital is an indication of disease condition. More and more people becoming diseased. Look at us. अभी जन्माष्टमी जब से मौसम खराब है, सबकी तबीयत खराब बढ़ी हुई है, कुछ ना कुछ चल ही रहा है. What करके. So that's the problem. So that's the point Prabhupada is making here. Problem of birth and death remains unanswered. So scientists, or this whole world is propaganda. We have been so much cheated by so many things now. Just we are cheated. Like this. Professor says, whatever you do, the scientists say, we are progressing, tomorrow will make you deathless. Don't you see how much progress we have made? We got big hospitals, we got robotic machines, we got this cure, that cure. In America, I was there and I learned one art. I would not say I learned the art, but I was told to learn the art. He said, it does not matter you know anything or nothing. What matters is how well can you speak. What matters is how well. Well, let me tell you something. One of the biggest fraud in the medical industry that happened in the recent past. It started back in 2014 or 15. And it was about a lady graduated from the Harvard Medical School, and she, along with her boyfriend, started a biotech company. You can go and Google it out. It's a full make. You know the name? What was the company about? The product they made? Product is important here, not the name of the individual. So they had said that they have invented a product which would make treatment painless. Something to do with anesthesia or something. Very quick treatment it was, something like that. Like that, and they raised millions and millions of dollars for it. And like this, they fooled people for next 4 to 5 years. Later on, people from his team began to speak about the truth of it. And they came out and they said, अरे इसने कोई मशीन नहीं बनाई है, ये दूसरों की मशीन यूज करके सिर्फ false data produce कर रही है. So she had a marketing team. And the marketing team job was to promote or put false data into the media. हमने ये कर दिया, ये कर दिया. Whichever has a strong marketing team, that person product sells the most. Yes or no? Think about Pepsi. ठंडा ठंडा cool cool. नहीं sorry, Pepsi नहीं था, वो कौन था? हाँ? नवरत्न तेल. हाँ, नवरत्न ठंडा ठंडा cool cool. तो सही वो ठंडा ठंडा cool cool था. But Pepsi ad, if you see, वो दिखाते थे, हाँ प्यास लग रही है गर्मी में. अबे गर्मी में तो वो टॉयलेट क्लीनर पीते हो क्या? गर्मी में पानी पिया जाता है करके. So and people really got into it करके. और फ्रिज में बोतल रखे थे, चिल बोतल आती थी सोडा के संग करके. So that's the point, kind of a thing. How they do a propaganda, and that's the point Prabhupada is mentioning. The scientists, how they cheat. Why would a pharmaceutical industry need a marketing department? We have Prasenjit working for a pharmaceutical industry, which has a marketing department, and this fellow tells us. If not, you can ask him. He tells, "Proji, हमें कितना marketing product बनाना पड़ता है." अबे तुम्हें बीमारी के सॉल्यूशन को मार्केट करने की जरूरत क्या है जब बीमारी ऑलरेडी इतनी फैली हुई है? थोड़ा झोल दिख रहा है ना इसमें? It's just a whole cheating.
The marketing budget is more than what is the research.
Yeah, it's all marketing budget is more. That's what happens. And that is the point Prabhupada is making first paragraph. We'll take this discussion tomorrow. Then Prabhupada says, the medical scientists prove their gross ignorance. They just keep saying, we'll fix it tomorrow. However, it never works. Where we are, we're in Mritya Loka. We can read the next paragraph, then pause, because the next paragraph talks about the same thing. Mritya Loka. Somebody would like to read the next paragraph? Nikhil Poo, your hand. You read already, right? We should have somebody else who has not read so far. Anyone else? Dr. Anjana. Madan Anjana, go ahead. Read, please. Hare Krishna. Are you reading? Can't hear anything.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you took a time. Go ahead.
Okay. The duration of life varies according to species. Lord Brahma, the chief living being within this material universe, lives for millions and millions of years, while a minute worm lives for some hours only. But no one in the material world can survive eternally. Things are born or created under certain conditions. They stay for some time, and if they continue to live, they grow, procreate, gradually dwindle, and finally vanish. According to these laws, even the Brahmas, of which there are millions in different universes, are all liable to death either today or tomorrow. Therefore, the entire material universe is called Mritya Loka, the place of death.
So in 15th chapter, there is a discussion about how we are so strongly attached to this Mrityu Loka. I'll conclude with this question to all of you. Okay, I hope, let me ask this question to have some basic understanding. Do you all acknowledge or agree that we have a lot of attraction for this world? Please raise your hand if you acknowledge this, that we have a lot of attraction for this world. This minute. And that attraction is two different things. Somebody can have attraction to his family members, attraction to wealth, whatnot. And such an interesting nature of this world is, जिसके प्रति हमारी आसक्ति या attraction है, that place only beats us down. That place only beats us down. Yes or no? We are growing old, we are becoming sickly, yet our attachment to this place does not dwindle. Yes? Somehow it keeps on getting multiplied more and more. Why? First you get married, then you have child, attachment increases. Then you grow old, although you're seeing death, although you're getting the punishment being part of this world, then person is becoming attached to his grandsons. And then he says, मरने से पहले मेरे पोते की शादी हो जानी चाहिए. उसको नहीं देखूंगा तो मैं कैसे अगली गति पे जाऊंगा. This is the sign of attachment. I'm not saying it's wrong as per se. I'm not making this as wrong. It's emotions. Don't see that I'm criticizing that. Emotional part is good. I'm just saying this is how our attachment does. And the person is not recognizing that, what's happening to you. Or what are you talking about it? Of course, it's not their fault again, because they have no knowledge. Only knowledge can open our eyes. So point here is, now, if you already have so much, I would tell you, you have not even realized how much attraction we have to this world. You've got some understanding. How do you break your attachment to this world? That's actually my question. How can you break attachment to this world? I mean, you have to break attachment to this world, which means you have to develop attachment for the spiritual world. That's the first answer. Okay. Now, how do you develop attachment for spiritual world is the actual question. The degree you develop attachment for spiritual world, to that degree, your attachment for the material world will reduce. Now, would anyone like to give an answer? How do you develop attachment for spiritual world? Yes, those who have not spoken. Agnel, Mike, give them the mic quickly. Keep your hands up so the mic can be passed quickly.
Roji, here I would like to quote 15th chapter, wherein it is mentioned that knowledge and detachment.
Okay. What does it mean? One line mein batao, matlab kya hai?
Knowledge of that how the material world is.
See, just to know, it's a very important question. Just to know the material world is a place of suffering would not help. You will only become hopeless, you will become Mayavadi.
Just to know that is not the step, correct? That's one of the first steps.
Good attempt. Next. Abhishek Prabhu.
Prabhuji, if we know what is a spiritual world, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, explains about the glories of Supreme Lord, then we actually know about the person and the spiritual.
How do you know?
By Srimad Bhagavatam.
So the point is, this verse talks about what? Please pay attention. Go back to the shloka. Sambhutim cha vinasham cha yastad vedo bhayam saha. आपका वन साइड नॉलेज हो गया है, आपको पता चल गया विनाश की दुनिया है, पर आपको ये पता चला है कि अध्यात्म जगत कितना बढ़िया है. जब तक वो पता नहीं चलेगा, you ain't going anywhere. You ain't going anywhere. Therefore, it is very important to parallelly cultivate both the knowledge. To know body is temporary is okay. To know soul is eternal is also okay. But to understand the soul has a loving relationship with the Lord is equally, or in fact more important. If we don't know this aspect, if we don't hear about this aspect, we don't read about this aspect, your attachment is going nowhere. लौट फिर के माँ बाप पर ही आ जाएंगे, घर वालों पर ही आ जाएंगे. Don't undermine your subtle body for that. Therefore, it is very important to read texts like Srimad Bhagavatam. We have been recently reading Garga Samhita. Yesterday only was a discussion about the marriage of Shri Radha and Krishna in Bhandiravan. What a beautiful description. The moment Radharani brought Krishna, so in this particular context, it is mentioned Radharani is elder to Krishna and Krishna is a very small boy, and Radharani and Krishna are eternal consorts. Radharani carried Krishna in her lap and brought to Bhandiravan. And Krishna took his teenage form And suddenly the whole Bhanderavan turned into the spiritual realm, the original spiritual realm, which was filled with palaces, assembly houses, beautiful Yamuna flowing by there. The trees were wish-fulfilling trees. Every scent particle was Chintamani, everything. And in that environment, then Brahmaji appears. And Brahmaji comes and Brahmaji performs a marriage ceremony. Now, when I just give you just a little bit, spoke about this, do you find your soul feeling little nourished now? Are anyone able to capture that? Interestingly, when I asked all the fellows who were reading along with me, did you capture anything? None of them captured it. None of them captured it. Because we are stuck in this world. There was such a beautiful discussion of the spiritual world, but none of them captured it. Because we have not yet learned that we have to go there. We are so stuck in this consciousness. We just couldn't think. There was a whole narration was there. I said, I asked him, what is it? Anything clicked to you? I asked him, nobody could speak about this. And everyone said, whatever of this world only. This is a sign of your attachment. The narration of spiritual world should attract our heart. And the attraction would happen when you know more and more about it. Then we are in a little safer zone. Otherwise, we are like Mayavadis only. We are not less than Mayavadis. We are struggling with this world only. Okay. So we need to read. We need to hear about it. अभी तेज इन सब पे आओगे पहले भागवतम तो पढ़ लो, है ना? भागवतम पढ़ने के बाद तो गर्ग संहिता इत्यादि इत्यादि शास्त्र पे आओगे. One should relish books like Gopal Champu. You know, one should relish Krishna Kathamritam. Only what is that? By Kavi Karnapur. I believe that's a book like that. We should relish that. So, of course, if the taste is not there, then we should beg. At least we should know what we should have taste for. When we go in front of the Lord, what we should beg for the Lord. My dear Lord, please give me taste in your Vrindavan Leelas, so I can hear and relish. And that is, I would say, is a good standing. Is a good standing. Otherwise, we are very firmly situated in material world. Firmly situated in material world means material consciousness. That's what it says, Sambhutim cha vinashim cha yasad vedo vayam saha. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आज के इस कार्यक्रम में भाग लेने के लिए.
I have a question.
We'll continue our discussion tomorrow onwards. Maybe once
Can
we
I
finish
ask a
chapter
question?
4, verse number 14, we'll see, we'll cover a little bit of syllabus, and then we'll have, maybe on Saturday we can have our gratitude day to Srila Prabhupada. We'll offer that on Saturday. So until aaj kya hai? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we can have 2 more classes. Friday, Bhagavatam. Saturday, we can have gratitude day offering. And like that, we can have a week like this. Okay, everyone. So you have enough
Can
time
I have a
for your
question?
1 minute speech, which would be on Saturday morning. It's a voluntary program. I hope you all will join back on Saturday morning also to be able to speak something. If not, that's okay. At least you can hear them. All right. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Hare
can I
Krishna.
ask